Welcome to the Deep Dive. You're here because, well, you want to get smart, fast, on topics that really matter.
And today, we're zoning in on some essential stuff for mobile notaries.
Exactly. We're pulling insights from a really great live Q&A session. It was hosted by LaDarrell Worf from GiNN Mobile Notary.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. What I liked was his whole vibe really about community, helping other notaries grow.
Totally, that community over competition thing.
Mhm.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
Absolutely. And his advice, super practical. It's clear he's actually doing this stuff day in, day out.
For sure. So think of this as your shortcut. We're going to hit 3 key things he talked about.
Right, things that are vital if you're already a mobile notary or even just, thinking about it.
Okay, so first up, split signings.
Yeah.
Then we'll look at marketing, which platforms actually work.
And finally, something crucial but maybe overlooked sometimes.
Right.
Building those client relationships.
Yeah, the bedrock of the business, really. Okay, let's dive in. Split signings first.
Okay, so let's get clear. Based on what LaDarrell explained, what is a split signing? In simple terms.
All right, so imagine one loan closing, but you've got more than one notary involved.
Okay.
Maybe you're handling the seller's documents, and another notary, somewhere else, maybe later, is doing the buyer stuff.
Gotcha. Like two halves of the same transaction handled separately?
Exactly, coordinating different pieces.
So what's the absolute golden rule here? The thing that you just cannot mess up. He really hammered this home.
Physical presence.
Yeah.
That's it. You only notarize for the person or people who are physically right there in front of you when they sign, period.
Right. So even if you see a spot on the document for the buyer's signature and a notary block for them.
If that buyer isn't sitting across from you, you don't touch it. Don't even look at it. Well, okay, look at it, but don't notarize it.
Makes sense. It seems simple, but I can see how maybe, with a big stack of papers, someone might think they're helping.
Which brings us to the big don't. What should notaries absolutely avoid doing in these split situations?
Right, this is important. LaDarrell was clear. Never, ever scratch out a signature line or a whole notary block that's meant for the other notary.
You might think you're cleaning it up, making it clearer.
Yeah, but it actually does the opposite. It creates confusion, extra work later. Title companies really dislike it.
It sounds like it could even raise questions about the document itself, like it's been tampered with.
Exactly. You're altering a legal document, potentially. Bad news.
Okay, but there was one specific time when making a change is okay, right? A nuance there.
Yes, good point. Let's say you have one notary certificate, like an acknowledgement, and it lists maybe 3 sellers,
Okay.
but only one of those sellers is actually there with you.
Okay.
In that specific notary block, the one you're completing, you can carefully line through the names of the absent sellers.
And you adjust the wording too, right? To say you only notarized for the one person present.
Precisely. You're correcting your own certificate to accurately reflect who you notarized for right then and there. It's very specific.
So the main takeaway seems to be careful. And if you're not sure,
Ask. Don't guess. Call the signing service. Call the title company. Get clarification.
yeah, making assumptions seems like the quickest way to cause problems for everyone.
Totally agree. A quick call saves a lot of potential hassle.
Okay, let's shift gears. Marketing. Another huge piece for mobile notaries.
And LaDarrell rightly pointed out, it's not one size fits all, is it? What works in, say,
That
Atlanta.
might be totally different from what works in Albuquerque, yeah.
Yeah.
Location matters.
So he didn't just give generic advice. He broke down specific platforms and why they're useful.
Let's start with his number one pick, the top priority.
Google Business Profile. Why did he rank that so high?
Well, think like a client. Someone needs a notary, like right now. Maybe it's urgent. Where do they look first?
Google, probably. Notary near me.
Exactly. So having that Google Business Profile optimized means you actually show up in those searches. It connects you directly to people actively looking for you, right where they are.
Makes perfect sense for those immediate needs. What about Yelp? He mentioned that one too.
Yeah, Yelp. He said it can be surprisingly good, especially in cities with lots of tourists or people moving in.
Ah, okay. People new to town.
Right. They might use Yelp to find local services they don't know yet, including notaries.
Mm-hmm.
It taps into that transient or new resident market.
Interesting. And for really local neighborhood level stuff.
Next door.
Yeah.
That's its sweet spot. Connecting with people literally in your community. Great for building that local trust and visibility.
Okay, now the big social media ones, Facebook and Instagram. How did they fit in?
So those are maybe less about the urgent need and more about building trust over time, shaping your brand.
Like showing the person behind the stamp.
Kind of, yeah. Sharing your story, maybe some behind-the-scenes glimpses carefully, of course, maintaining confidentiality, builds connection, personality.
Which can lead to word of mouth, I guess.
Definitely. And then there was LinkedIn.
Yeah.
More professional focus there.
Right. That's for connecting with the people who might refer you business or hire you directly for business needs.
Exactly. Think estate attorneys, realtors, corporate clients.
Mm-hmm.
building those B2B relationships.
So lots of options. What was the overall strategy advice then? Don't try to do everything.
Pretty much, be strategic. Don't spread yourself too thin. Pick a few platforms that seem like the best fit for your area and who you want to reach.
Test them out.
Yeah, track what's actually working, where the call's coming from, and then double down on those. Quality over quantity.
Focus your efforts. Makes sense. You can't be everywhere.
Right. Okay, finally, let's talk about what LaDarrell called the cornerstone. Client relationships.
Ah, yes. The long game, really, not just about the single transaction.
Exactly. He really pushed this idea of charging a fair rate rather than trying to maximize every single signing fee.
Why? What's the thinking there?
It's about building long-term value and trust. Happy clients come back, they refer others. That's more valuable in the long run than, an extra few bucks today.
And he had that great story, didn't he, about the tip?
Oh, yeah. He got tipped like $60, which is pretty unusual in this line of work, I think.
Wow. Why? What did he do?
Just pure professionalism and organization. He showed up super prepared, had everything in neat folders, the process was smooth. The client was just really impressed by the service level.
That really shows how those little things, that extra care, can make a huge difference.
Totally. And it's not just for the big important clients.
Right. He stressed consistency.
Yeah, that same level of care, professionalism, attention to detail, it needs to be for everyone, every signing. Even if it's just a quick document for a neighbor or family friend.
Because that consistency builds your reputation.
And your reputation is your brand in this business, like he said.
People remember how you treated them, how smooth the process was.
Way more than they'll remember the exact price, usually. If you build on professionalism, reliability, genuine care, the financial success tends to follow.
Makes total sense. It's about building something sustainable.
Okay, so wrapping up what we learned from LaDarrell today.
We hit the key rules for handling split signings correctly. Always physical presence. Don't mess with other notaries' sections.
Right. And we looked at marketing platforms, Google for immediate needs, Yelp for certain cities, Nextdoor for local, Social for trust, LinkedIn for pro connections.
And the advice to focus, test, and track. Don't try to boil the ocean.
And maybe most importantly, the absolute value of building strong client relationships through fairness, professionalism, and consistency. That's the foundation.
And it's worth saying, again, this isn't just theory. This comes from someone in the field, sharing what actually works. Real-world stuff.
Absolutely. From the trenches, so to speak.
So as you're thinking about all this, maybe consider, what's one thing you could implement?
Yeah, maybe double-checking your process for split signings next time, or perhaps really digging into optimizing that Google business profile this week.
Or even just thinking, how can I make my next client interaction feel even more professional and smooth? Could that one small shift start building a stronger business for you?
Maybe pick one marketing platform that sounds promising for your area and commit to exploring it. Or just consciously add that extra touch of care to your next appointment. Food for thought.